Oh, all right. The counter is on, and the countdown has been happening, folks, since the reconvening, the reunion. Not like we broke up. Or it's not even a hiatus, really. It's just been a minute, folks. Welcome to episode 51 of the Lingaholics podcast. Coming back after a little summer sojourn, a little pause, a little break. It's been fun. It's been good. And this is Ian here, Senor on el micrófono. And boy, oh boy, lots has been happening in the world. We've been having some adventures. Our boy Marcus just got back from Sweden, Sweklandia. We're going to hear all about that. Our boy Cody, he's been teaching intensively in Korea. Senor, my countdown is on. I think I'm like 10 days away from being back in the classroom with actual students, Spanish and French. So, boy, oh boy. This episode, we were supposed to have lined up our guest, Dave Morrow, who's a a veteran of the Canadian Army here, along with his friend, who's a Pashto speaker and a Afghan interpreter. That is still coming up. It's just been put on hold. There's been a lot of momentous events, news out of Afghanistan, as I'm sure everyone's aware of. So we are keeping abreast of the situation with that, and we are going to have that episode with Dave, because lots and lots of news about the Afghan interpreters, and we really want to explore that from a language level. So that said, this is Senor. This is episode 51. Let's get a crack in. Let's go out to Ontario, where Senor Sueco is back from Suecolandia, visitando la mamá y el papá. Sueco?
Well, I did see my parents, but I
Oh, you
only
did?
saw them for like a brief minute because, I'm gonna see
Oh,
them anyway very soon. They're
okay.
inbound to Canada.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
But otherwise, the main purpose of the trip was to go back and see the people that I haven't seen in a while since the
Yeah.
start of the pandemic.
Right.
Certain family members, so that was really nice. There were a lot of nice things with my trip. First of all, it's always nice to take a vacation. I think it's
Okay.
very
No.
important to take a vacation. Like, I'm a big believer in working hard during
Mm-hmm.
the semester or during the year at work or in your studies. But then I'm also a big believer in resting and
Mm-hmm.
recuperating both mentally and physically.
Little recharge.
A little recharge, a little reset. That's what it feels like, and that's what it is.
Great
It's a
reset.
reset,
Yeah,
right?
Marcus, that's one of the first things that me and you ever talked about. I think like the second or third time we met each other, we talked about that.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm a big believer in this, right? Because I've
Mhm.
done this in multiple times in my life. After my undergraduate degree, I took a couple months and I went down to South America and I did something completely different than engineering and science for a few months, which was really nice because I was able to um, re- regenerate my motivation for working within this field, right? And I think that's very important to do. You can't do the same thing over and over and over again. You will lose motivation eventually. The same thing goes for language learning. So during my time in Sweden, I didn't really do any language learning at all. But it's fun. It is funny though, because my cousins, they have a new chef from Peru.
Mm.
So when I was over at their house, we were shooting the shit a little bit, and he's been in Sweden now for a couple years, I think. His Swedish was a little sketchy, but so we were talking in Spanish, obviously, which was really nice. So I got some Spanish. There's always a Spanish speaking person wherever you go in
Opportunities.
the world. That's what I feel like. So
Yeah, man.
that was really so I got some practice, but otherwise I didn't do any languages at all during my trip, which was nice because I was focusing on other things. But then at some point at the end of my stay, I had this realization, this intuition that I wanted to start Italian. I wanted to get serious about Italian because I've dabbled a little bit in Italian before, but I was at the dinner table and I was talking. I was talking to my grandma's boyfriend in German and Spanish. a little bit because he lived in Germany before and he lived in Spain as well, so he's able to speak a little bit. But we were communicating in these languages, and I was like, you know what? And I realized how much I love speaking languages and how fun it is to, even if you're not that good, like we said before, like B1's fun, right? Intermediate is fun. B1, B2 is really fun.
Yeah.
Intermediate's really fun. And you can attain that level in a relatively short period of time. So I was like, I'm gonna do this in Italian now. I'm gonna get serious about Italian, take a couple months, do the Pimsleur program, take some italki classes, watch some videos on YouTube, maybe, do my stuff, right? Do some Duolingo. We'll see we'll see where that takes me. But have fun with it. And I had that realization in Sweden, like that this was like my second to last day. And now I'm back today. The first couple days I was jet lagged. I was a little worn from my travels back. I had a pretty rough, or not a rough night, but I had a pretty fun last night in Sweden before I came. So I was a little, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was a little worn when my first couple of days back here in Canada, so I had to just like calm down and
Settle
try to
in.
function because I still had to go to work. But now, I had a nice rest today. I was just chilling because it's Saturday here. It's the weekend. And I felt, now it's time to start. Now it's time to start with this next language journey of mine. So, I got the Pimsleur. I have the Pimsleur course since a long time ago. So I started it. I downloaded it onto my iPhone and I went for a long walk and I plowed through like 5 or 6 Pimsleur episodes.
You got the app or just the course?
I have the course.
Dude, can I give a little shout out to Pimsleur?
Okay, let's talk about
What
Pimsleur. I
they
got a
just
like.
did.
I got a like from the official Pimsleur page on Twitter today. By
Yeah.
the way,
Nice.
Yeah, and I like you too, Pimsleur, because previously for every individual language on Pimsleur, it was like a $20 subscription per month. Like that's what I've been rocking on Korean for the last like 2 or 3 months. But then our boy Seabold had a tweet about like something is like Pimsleur just let out this cool new deal about getting all of their languages, like their entire library for the price of one subscription. I was like, really? Anyways, I kind of forgot about it. I was at work the next day. I've been like really deep into Afghanistan and stuff. I'm like, I want to like just check out the Pashto course. It's true. You go on the app now. It's like you now have access to all of their courses for $20 a month on the
really?
official Pimsleur apps. Every single Pimsleur
Wait,
language,
are you
$20
serious?
a month. Yeah,
Are you
on the
serious?
official app. So for the Pimsleur fans, you can get access to all Pimsleur now for $20. Cool.
That
They're not a sponsor. I'm just telling everybody it's a cool deal for language.
that's pretty sweet. So with the Pimsleur course, so the course that I have is from like it's the old Italian course. Do they update their courses?
No,
Or is it always
it's
the
still
same?
the same old. Because I think they're confident in what they made all those years ago.
Right.
So they don't really update it. But regardless, for in terms of a beginner course, it's there. It's
Do
so it's a
do
pretty solid
you
deal.
do you have the list of all the languages that Pimsleur has?
Yeah, on my phone. It's long. If
Is
anyone,
it really?
yeah, man, there's like 50 languages, dude.
Wow.
Yeah,
What are some of like the more obscure
all the big
ones?
ones. Pashto, Dari
They have
for
both.
got both. I don't like they got 2 levels of Pashto. I'm not sure how many levels of Dari. Persian Dari. There's lots, man.
Pashto and Dari, are they both Arabic script?
I believe so. But Dari is related to Persian. Pashto, I don't know exactly which
Is Pashto
language
more like
family.
Urdu, like Hindi Urdu?
I don't know. I don't want to speak on. It's like the
Well,
Pashtuns, like the biggest majority in Afghanistan, speak Pashto, which our upcoming guest he learned it before shipping out. So I'm curious how he did that. So that's gonna be part of our interview. But cool promo for Pimsleur for sure.
yeah, Pimsleur is awesome.
Yeah. So
I believe.
cool, man.
Yeah. So where was
started
I?
with- We were
Where was
starting
I?
with
Yeah.
the
So I started
Italian,
some Italian
Duolingo.
today, and it's a slow process. So I was just, I was just doing some simple dabbling today.
So it
Some
starts,
Yeah, I
man.
just did like the first couple Pimsleur episodes. But it's something that I love listening to an episode driving to work, for example, during my commute. And it's a slow process. I'm not in a rush about this. I'm basically gonna mimic what I did with Portuguese. That's the idea.
Yeah, it's nice bite size throughout the days.
Yeah, there you go.
So there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm re-energized. I'm back. I'm re-energized and I'm ready to go.
man. No, man, breaks are very important.
Yes, and I had a
Re-energized.
Spanish class today on italki. Never gonna give
Nice.
that up. I'm gonna book a couple French classes probably. Yeah, and that'll be it.
Yeah, man.
I'm doing a trip to Quebec soon, so we'll get some immersion. Not
Oh, yeah.
immersion, but French practice. Nevertheless,
Mm,
There we go.
yeah, that's
Oh
awesome.
yeah. All right.
which should be fun.
Pinch.
Yeah, that's me, bud.
Let's hear from the pinch.
Yeah,
Snippet
so I wouldn't say that I'm re-energized because I didn't get to take a break.
don't
I got
stop,
quite
folks.
the
You don't stop.
opposite, actually. I got loaded with a bunch of work. And it's a new job, so it was pretty overwhelming past few weeks. And um I mean, this week I've got to do training again for some reason, so it's gonna be a semi break, but it's still not really gonna feel like a break. It's kind of weird. And then after that, I'm gonna be starting my regular classes. So, and I don't know, man. Like I need a vacation. I feel like I need to just have at least like a week or so to just reset.
When does the school year start in Korea?
The
September?
same time as Canada. Like
Okay.
end of August, beginning of September.
Right. Now, is your school, it follows along with that schedule?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I could definitely use a break. Not only from because when I first came to Seoul, I wasn't working, but it didn't feel like a break because I still had
Yeah.
to make money on the side, and
Yeah.
I had to look for a new job and like worry about staying here. So didn't really feel like a vacation. And
Yeah.
But Cody, that's nice that they're training you. So this seems to be more organized than the last
yes,
gig.
yeah, yeah. So this school is definitely a better setup, which is nice. And yeah, so I mean, things are progressing quite nicely, I guess, other than the fact that I don't want to know when my next vacation is going to be. But in terms of like my regular routine life, things are starting to slowly come together. I'm going to start looking for a gym to go to and also a taekwondo, a dojang next week because I'm going to start
Dojang.
getting into
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on with me.
Guys, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about getting into the Ironmans.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I went to see my cousin. My cousin's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. So right now he's doing a thing. Well, he's not doing it, but his trainer is doing a thing where he's running 21 Ironmans in 21 days. Where he's doing 21 Ironmans in 21 days. And my cousin is his like personal not trainer, but personal like assistant. So he's driving him around in Sweden. They're doing it in like every province of Sweden, like the 21 provinces of Sweden, essentially in 21 days. It's like to raise awareness for something, you know what I mean? Like
21
for charity.
consecutive
Dude.
days?
Yeah, every
Dude.
day.
Man, you guys got to check
Oh
out.
my god.
You guys got to check out a documentary on Netflix called Iron Cowboy, where a dude completes a 50 Ironmans, 50 states,
Yeah,
in
yeah, he was
50
talking about him.
days.
So this
No
is
seas
the
mamon.
no, but this is the Swedish version of that. But anyway, my cousin is like his personal assistant. So
Yeah.
he runs some of the marathons with him. For example, he ran 4 marathons in 5 days, stuff like that. So he's crazy for this stuff. And it's like he can't skip a single day without doing something. So he went to pick me up from Stockholm, and he was like, "So what do you want to do? You want to go swim?" I was like, "I don't really know how to swim, but let's go." Like, so we went to
Let's
the
go.
we went to the pool, the swimming pool. And swimming is really, really hard if you don't know how to do it
To start
to start.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I've done a bit, of or not competitive swimming, but like serious swimming in the past. So I kind of had the technique down and everything, but you get tired. You
yeah.
get so tired.
Swimming, when I did my first Ironman 2018, because I started training the summer prior, and like one time across the pool, that's a length. A lap is there and back.
Yeah.
And I remember like when I first did swimming, like because
I did
I
2
signed up for
laps.
my
I did 2
okay, so
laps.
4
That was my
lengths.
Yeah, 4
Yeah,
lengths
I
without stopping.
remember doing
Without
like
stopping.
3 lengths
Yeah.
the very first time, and my heart was like, I was
Dude,
like,
3
oh my
lengths.
god.
3 lengths is really
Initially,
good. That's really good. Like
no, no, like
it's so hard to get like the breathing right.
yeah. All I'm saying is that's how it started, and then you just go back. It's kind of like language learning. Lots of parallels. You go back, like next time you did like 5 lengths, 6 lengths with these breaks, and then I swear, man, I swear with swimming, it had this like this trajectory like no other. Once you were like all of a sudden you're going from like 20 lengths to like 80 lengths. It was the
That's what everyone
weirdest,
says.
coolest thing because it's like you made this breakthrough, and it was really cool with swimming.
But
So
I feel like, I mean, like, obviously it's not, 2 laps. What is that? 100 meters? I think it's
yeah,
100 meters.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not very far. So
No.
obviously it's not like the limiting factor in the beginning is not your body and your muscles. It's just the breathing because you're not
I
used
think
to the
it's
breathing.
yeah, it's
Mm.
adaptation of your
It's
body in that
adaptation. So
regard.
like when you're doing like it's crawl swim, right?
Front crawl. Yeah.
Front crawl. So
Yeah.
it's just like figuring out because in the beginning, like the first time I jumped in, I could barely do 1 length
Yeah, no,
because
no.
I didn't have the rhythm. Like you need a rhythm. You
Mhm.
need to be
Yeah.
perfectly straight and level in the water, and like have your head obviously looking down into the like towards the bottom of the pool.
Mhm.
And then like every once in a while you have to go up and breathe. Like exhale, inhale.
Yeah, it's
That's definitely the hardest part about swimming that I think. Yeah.
No, it's really hard if you're doing it
Mhm.
seriously, right? Like front crawl. And so the
yeah.
first time I could not even do 25 meters, which is 1 length. And then the second time when I kind of figured out that I was supposed to exhale while still being like having my head in the water, I was
Mhm.
able to do 2 lengths. And then I
Ah.
kind of
Mhm.
figured out like the rhythm on like every third stroke to go up and exhale, inhale or inhale.
Mhm.
Then I was able to do 4 strokes. But I couldn't
Exactly that.
I could not go over 4 strokes or not 4-stroke lengths. I could not go
Yeah.
over 4 lengths.
Mhm.
So that was really hard. So we did that. And then afterwards, I was completely exhausted. He was like, "All right, let's go bike."
That's how it is, dude.
Oh my god.
Transition T1.
Let's go bike. So we went home to his he has like a basement. I swear to God, it's just like your basement. Like and he has this like tiny little room with like his trainer and his bikes and everything.
Nice.
Good TV.
And a TV, obviously. And a big
Well, it's
fan.
not
So we went in there and did an hour of biking
nice. It's not Ian's basement anymore though.
as his previous basement. But I
Previous.
bet you he's gonna have
But
a trainer in his new basement too.
yeah. Well, actually, before the COVID, I used to have a group in my classroom. Um, using an open space. Uh, I watched. I almost finished all of Crash Landing on You
Oh
this
yeah?
past winter while training. It's slightly monotonous. Some guys, I don't. Does your cousin watch anything? Like some people use like Zwift or like they'll do like the virtual training
Well,
and
I don't
stuff.
know
Like
what
I
it's
just need
called,
something
but
to like occupy my mind.
he
Language learning
had
is
like
great for that.
he had the TV on, and then he had some app where he's like competing against others.
Probably
Like he's
Zwift or
actually biking.
something.
Like on the
Yeah.
app, he has like a little cyclist that goes around like on a track.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's Zwift, which is yeah, that's what all the try guys are into.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, like, so I don't know what I can do. I think it would be sick if I can find a pool and get into swimming because I was very impressed by that um form of exercise,
Yeah.
sozusagen, so to speak. But and running is obviously easy. I can go out and run as much as I want, like I ran today. But
yeah,
biking, I don't really have the financial means at this point to buy like a nice tri bike and a trainer and everything. So
yeah.
I'm gonna hold off on that.
There's financials aside, the startup costs of triathlon are a pain in the
They're
ass
pretty high,
for
but
sure.
I feel like if I spread it out over like a couple years, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
yeah.
it. And
Just budget
I'm
that.
not trying to run to do an Ironman within the next 2 years. But it's probably gonna be 2023.
Beautiful time frame, dude. Yeah,
Beautiful time
I
frame,
wish
right?
I
So
would have given my
I have 2 years
2 years.
now to start like prepping, and I'm
Yeah,
already in pretty good shape running wise. I just need to learn how to swim, and biking's biking, right? You just need to be like really strong,
basically all it
good
is.
legs.
Yeah, you're taking those 3 things, you're just doing them one after the other. So,
Right. But
uh,
I've also realized that people that do Ironmans, they go crazy.
you
Like
kind
every
of have
single one
to.
of them, you
You kind
have
of
to
have
go
to,
crazy, right? Like they take
because
it really
you'll
seriously. The
you'll
people that
fail
do
if you
Ironmans
don't.
take it very seriously.
You'll get a DNF if you don't.
Uh,
So, yeah,
So my question now is there any way I can combine like Ironman training for language learning
yes,
or with language learning?
yes.
How?
Not swimming, no. Swimming, you kind of need to have your thoughts and just that's when you do your meditation while you're swimming. While you're biking, though, and this is the beautiful thing, it's kind of like combined with the summer job that I've been working. Like some days I get to cut fairways for 6 hours straight and just listen and listen and listen. And that's the same thing when you're biking. Because I mean, like, come on, it's road riding, especially out here in the prairies. That's, that those sights get old quick. You can easily have an AirPod in, listening. Um, look, man, that's Ironmans that's an endurance sport. Takes a lot of hours of training. So, I mean, there's already so many studies combined with like after you've done exercise or even while you're doing exercise, how you're activating your brain, endorphins, that you can be soaking up knowledge, content, material as you're doing some of these physical activities. So, I mean, for me, biking, I'm definitely more of like a podcast guy. Running, I do need music. I can't run and listen to conversations. Like, there's got to be a beat. But if you just think about how many hours that you're doing putting into like a triathlon, Ironman distance, the longest there is, or I guess there's like ultra marathons and stuff if you're super crazy. But basically, I'm just saying you just like look at all those hours you got to train, especially on the bike and running, and be like, how can I combine language learning with this? Two birds,
mm,
one stone.
Because the
So
thing is that I realized when I do like low pace running, like not fast running,
yeah,
I'm in a pretty good mood to consume language material.
okay,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I regularly go on long runs and listen to like language podcasts.
yeah,
I do
yeah. I
that a
mean,
lot.
well, that's good. Like if you can just find your pace and that you're like, I think it's good because languages. I don't know if we talked about how like it's good with languages to not get distracted. Any intensive
yeah.
thing you're being serious about. So when you're running, and I mean you got to focus on where you're running, what you're doing, but I think it really focuses the brain when you're doing that, and I think it's laying like a very nice mental landscape for language learning while exercising. Like I
I think
really
so
believe
too.
that
I
because
think so too.
you can't get like, oh, I got a Twitter notification, oh, so and so texted me, oh, like I gotta like I can like look at the sports score. Like can't happen. You're running. You're
Hmm.
physically occupied. Your brain is I mean your
I
body's
love
occupied. Your brain not necessarily. So that's why not do language learning?
I love the concept of multitasking too, like killing two birds with one
Oh,
stone.
yeah, like we say multi, I think it's like dual in this case.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but
dual.
on the flip side of this though, there's there's a certain beauty in just concentrating on one thing, because that's the way that
Agreed.
I prefer to study. Like, uh, that's that's just how I learn the best. Is like when I sit down with something and I just purely focus on that. Like, I don't look at my phone at all. The only thing I use my phone for is if I need to translate something, and I ignore
Yeah, like a
everything else,
tool.
and I'm just doing that one task, and I find you can really tap into a flow state when you're doing that, and it feels wonderful.
Yeah, but what if you could do that? Like, what if you can get tap into the flow state doing two different things at the same
But
time?
it's different though, because the fact that your brain is still occupied with two different things, it takes away from it.
But running is
Depends what
not
you're doing
occupying
though,
your brain
man. Like
though.
cutting
It is
fairways
though.
or running. Like I don't need to be super mentally attentive
I mean,
to cut
yeah,
a
like you don't
fairway.
need to be super attentive to it, but it's still there.
No, but the thing, Cody, is that like, there's a difference here. There's a
Like, we're talking
difference
about
between doing like
exercise.
no, but like you can do like high intensity training, which requires a lot of mental
Yeah,
attentiveness,
yeah.
Yeah.
if you will. But then again, you can do like long distance
Right.
endurance training,
Which is where
which
the
is sort of like
triathlon.
meditation. You're not really doing anything in
Yeah.
your brain.
Yeah, like that's where like triathlon comes in.
Like your
I
pulse
wouldn't
isn't
recommend
even
this
that
for
high.
wrestling.
Like Cody, when I go on runs, like my pulse doesn't really go up that much. You know, like it's like low pulse training. It's like low
Mhm.
intensity
Yeah, yeah,
training. So
like
like it's kind of like walking. It's kind of like
yeah,
walking. It's just
yeah.
a little bit more
It
strenuous.
paces up.
Paces up a little bit, but I don't run fast. I really don't run
So
fast. I try to go up
would
for an hour, but I do it
Mm,
at a low pace and I do it every
yeah.
day. So I do it often and it's
hmm.
not like the high intensity. It's not very hard what I do. It's just low intensity. It's like going for a walk but a little faster. It's a jog.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, and I
Okay.
think they're both valid. Like Cody just working at his desk, which I do a ton of. Like, not like it's just another modal of doing it. You just have like this focus. Like I feel like your body is like just helping the mind with movement, and then I honestly feel like okay, Cody, I'll ask you prior to a language learning session. Like, do you ever use exercise to like make that focus happen? Because I love going for a run and then coming back and like hitting the language learning. Like I feel like I've let out those endorphins and now the mind can like come on in to focus.
Well, it depends on like the way I have my routine, but
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
usually after I exercise, I take a shower and then I meditate, and then usually I cook a meal or I go out and eat something, and then I would study after that. I don't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exercise and then immediately just study.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
also another thing that I want to bring up is like when you're walking around or um, like going for a run outside, is that uh, I get distracted by sights when I'm outside.
Really?
I I yeah, I'm a very observant person. I notice everything that's happening to me. So, especially when I'm living in a place like Seoul, when there's so much
Say,
going
man,
on,
you
there's
need
so many
some
people.
boring town, Saskatchewan to cure
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but I get especially if I'm in a very stimulating place, like I get distracted easily, and I
Yeah.
notice things and I look at things, I see people and I like so I don't really get that whole in the zone kind of focus when I'm outside. I only can really control it the best when I'm in my own home. I'm in my environment. I know nothing's going to distract me.
Yeah, but that's because you're like in downtown Seoul. That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
was gonna
no, but
say,
even
setting my player role here.
even if I'm not in Seoul, like let's say I'm back home in
Like the
Cochrane, for
River Valley or
example.
something?
I'm just walking down the river valley. I would still notice
Really?
things.
Oh man. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's not your thing.
Yeah. I'm just
But
saying, like,
I'm very attracted to the dual language learning slash exercising.
like
Okay.
especially with triathlon, it's so lengthy.
Mhm.
This isn't like wrestling or like climbing even. It's a long endurance. You
Like
have to do these long sessions, which
Mhm.
is what
right,
language learning requires too.
there's a reason why everyone has a TV in front of their trainer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go crazy. You go crazy if you got nothing occupying your mind. With certain,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess I'm just
I'm talking about this.
yeah, I'm not really used to that type of exercise, so
Right.
yeah. I can
That's
definitely see where you guys are coming from. It makes sense.
that's why I think it goes hand in hand nicely. Swecko, to go back to your, like, you honestly feel like you can get like two things done, like very beneficial things: language learning and exercise.
Right, but I
So
don't feel like you're sacrificing like the quality of either of the two activities when you're doing them. Like
no,
they go very well hand in hand. It's like kind of like doing chores. It's like cleaning and listening to a podcast at the same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
kind of like that.
So no, I'm fascinated because I think, because if you just, especially with like something like an Ironman, which is, it's so long distance, and it just, languages are long distances. Like, languages are marathons.
Mhm.
Even Esperanto is a marathon.
I bet you
too.
there's
Yeah.
a correlation between people that like doing Ironmans and people that like languages.
There's actually a talk from the very first ever polyglot gathering that happened in Budapest. I found this video like years later. A dude gives he gives a presentation about Iron Man and languages. It's
Oh.
fascinating. I'll people just search those two. It's from the original polyglot gathering. So
Yes, because certain minds are attracted to endurance. Like my mind is, I was never a high intensity sprinting guy.
right,
Like I was never a
yeah,
guy who did something only for like a short period of time and that was it.
right,
High intensity. I was a guy like, I slow it down a little bit and I do it for a long period of time. Like I love the
yes,
endurance, like being able to endure. I'm very attracted to that.
process,
To
and I
process
mean,
things, right?
Yeah.
languages, like, look, man, like, you have some good days running, and all of a sudden it's like, man, like, I'm sore today. Like, I only made it like half as far. Like, I got these things, which I
Yeah,
find exactly analogous with language learning,
Mhm.
where
right.
you like the intermediate plateau,
Like
or like
willpower and endurance.
yeah, like languages too. Like, I feel like it's mindset too. I feel like that's why you don't need like the most awesomest method with language learning. Just keep that mindset that you're gonna keep going, even slowing down, even not doing for something for a while. Just have in the back of your head that you're not done.
Mhm.
You're gonna
Mhm.
keep going. Bad, like we talked about bad hair language days with Ace. Those happen. Just you don't want to beat it up. That's the same thing with like triathlon. You got a training schedule, all of a sudden your training schedule, you don't meet a goal. Oh, snap. Is my entire training schedule in jeopardy now? No, you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to reassess, recalculate. I think that's with languages too, man. Like, I could be at this level by this point, but then like, oh, you start messing up. Okay, well now you got to like re reorient your plan, but look at like your past successes as building blocks to
Mhm.
that. And
Mhm.
I swear that's mindset, man. Mindset.
There's something very satisfying with enduring hardship.
Oh
And
yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
languages and endurance athletics or endurance sports, that's enduring in order to be successful, you need to endure hardship.
yeah.
Yeah. Because life is hard, man.
Yes.
Languages are hard.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you know what I think, like on a fundamental, like psychological level, like doing these type of activities, it's kind of like simulating, um,
yeah,
it's kind of like simulating hardship in life, you know? And
Mhm.
like if you're able to simulate it and if you're able to I guess endure by means of willpower in this simulation, which is studying languages or doing Ironmans or endurance athletics, you'll be better prepared to handle high stress events in life or hardships in life.
Absolutely.
I
I
think that's
I
my
think
100% agree.
so.
hypothesis.
I think so. Yes.
Because you know that feeling, Ian, like after you complete an Ironman, like you feel like there's nothing in the world that can bring you down, right?
Look,
That's kind
man,
of what it
like,
feels like.
It's very satisfying. Mostly, at least in my 2 experiences, the pain can end. Your body, at least like for me, your running experience, you just feel more pain as the kilometers pile up, especially on the run. It's more impact. So I don't know if that end goal with the language, because I don't know if we ever meet like exact end points. I don't know if we like have finish lines in languages per se.
Yes, but you have moments. You have
You have
moments, like
moments, you
click
have
moments.
goalposts, you
You
have
have multiple
milestones.
click moments when you
Yes,
realize that you're actually getting better.
correct.
And those are like small little finish lines.
Yeah. So
And
I'd say like
they
languages are even
happen
like the longest race.
right, and they
Uh-huh.
happen more sporadically, but they exist.
They exist.
And
You'll
those
feel it.
moments give you like the greatest sense of gratification.
Yes. Yeah, man. Trust me, because like your mindset up until that finish line is like, I just gotta keep going. Like when I first jumped into the water today, like there's nothing, you haven't done anything yet. Like at least with the race, you're not gonna be happy if you don't finish it all. So I mean, like languages, look, it's been my defense of the dabble. If you only get a little bit done, you can still like engage with just even cultural insights and stuff. But like, yeah, there is this mentality until you hit the finish line that you're not done. Like you got to find a
Right.
way. Like fuck, like get a power bar in you, get some water, get some hydration,
Right.
get some salt.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's like with languages, I don't know if you set your own schedule more with languages. Maybe like yes and no. You can plan stuff out with languages. I don't know, like circumstances, right? You go on vacation, you're not doing something, so like with languages, it depends how like much pressure. Like after this next coming year, like I'm putting a ton of German pressure on myself. That's gonna be a whole year before I go. So that's when I'm gonna feel like the pressure, the heat, the temperature really build up. So I mean, I think it's good. I think that's why it is good to have deadlines or have like specific dates. Because if you just have some like really abstract date in the future, I don't think you're gonna feel that pressure to keep going, keep pushing. I think that's a mentality thing. So I don't know what you guys
Yes,
think.
but you have to endure though. At the end of the
Yeah,
day,
of
if you want
course,
to
of
learn, you
course.
have to endure. Like it's
Yeah.
hard, right? Like we talked about this with Ace a little bit. Like I told Ace, like Ace, you love doing hard stuff, like difficult things.
It does.
And I think certain people are
It
attracted to that
does.
because it gives them an overall satisfaction and it makes them, it makes them feel like it's kind of like I don't know how to say it, but it's like
Yeah, his that's like very cross-disciplinary too. Ace, right? Like with his physics and his languages, his running.
yes.
But I think he would agree that there's like parallels in all of these
Right, they're
as
parallels,
well.
but there's something in there that's very satisfying and attractive,
Right. Mhm.
and like
Common
overcoming the
thread.
pain, overcoming the pain.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
because
not
it makes
saying
all the pain
studying
worth it.
languages is painful, but it at minimum, at minimum, it requires willpower.
It
Mhm.
does. Yeah, because you're lit. I don't know, languages, like you're pushing your brain to see these new, like I've been doing these 10-minute Russian dabbles kind of throughout the summer. Just like you're seeing those like the different like word endings, like accusative, nominative, genitive, just like Ukrainian was. And it's just like just seeing a noun in a different way. I feel like you're just pushing your brain in a new way. Like I don't know, like
Well, Ian, you're literally creating new neural connections.
correct.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I've never known what to think of that. Like if I learned a new word in English, have I just made a new neural connection? Like I think yeah.
Yeah?
Right.
Probably.
Just like if I like string a sentence together. Like look, I listened to the first Duolingo of Pashto. I'm like, oh, this is subject verb object, just like Korean. Like or no, sorry, subject object verb. Like
Mhm.
just like you can just as you like glance these little things, right? It was just like if you were to like keep going along these paths, these neural connections are just going to get stronger and stronger. So yeah,
man.
it's just effort, lots of effort.
Like if you
So
want to do anything cool in this life, it's gonna take hard work and effort.
yeah, the hours, right? But I think that's where you got to come in with a plan, though. Like that, like with
Yeah, plans are
triathlons, right?
important.
You
man.
need a plan. You just can't be like, all right, like let's just go run a bunch, bike a bunch. No, you're gonna have a schedule, which I
Mhm.
think with languages, to an extent, if not a schedule, a routine to build them into your day. Like that's just like the real practical side of it all. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still like, my way of doing things. I'm pretty relaxed. I throw on things. I either listen to a Pimsleur course or French radio in the car
yeah,
on the way to work,
right.
and then when I get home, I do some like I always read like the New York Times Spanish edition. That's like my go-to.
Yeah,
Or like I have my Spanish YouTubers that I watch, right? Oh,
yeah, man.
oh, speaking of Afghanistan, I'm almost done with Alex Tienda's documentary
Dude,
on his
what a
visit in
series, eh?
Afghanistan. Did you watch all of them?
I haven't watched all of them. I'm on number 3.
I'm on number 4 now.
Okay.
I think there's 5.
Wild.
Fascinating.
YouTuber.
Like in order to go to Afghanistan, you need to have some cojones, some balls.
Cojones.
And that was before the Taliban took over.
No, it was during. This was back in this was
Well,
this year. This was like in May, I think.
when they were, yeah, he met Taliban.
Mhm.
Oh,
like,
really?
throughout the,
Oh,
yeah. Like he's interacting with them and like with his
Holy.
company. And
Man, I can't wait to have our Afghan episode. We need to talk a little bit more before that, maybe after this pod
absolutely,
about
yeah.
Afghanistan, because I have a bunch of theories and hypotheses and
Well,
some
yeah,
vientos.
I mean, there's so much media. Like anybody can go to New York Times, CBC, CNN, Canada Land. There's so much content out right there about interpreters, but I really want to dive into that. Like, what was it? It was the New York Times one. I mean, like I've listened to so many lately. Where like, the one interpreter was like picking up a gun and started fighting with the Americans or the Canadians.
Yes, the New York
I just want to
Times.
hear,
That
I just
guy.
want to hear
I
more
don't
of these
remember his name.
stories. It's kind of how like when I went to Ukraine, Lee was with me. My Ukraine was not bad, but Lee was more than just an interpreter for me. He was like a cultural facilitator. Like he'd be explaining things to me that were happening. Like this is why you put the vodka bottle down on the floor after it's drunk. Like these little cultural things that you wouldn't pick up. And I think that's really what I want to get into in this Afghan app about like those like soft skills that the interpreters had to have helped all these veterans with
Yeah.
when they were there. That's so I think it's going to lead to a fascinating language and like cultural conversation because you were in these you're in lots of low stress situations too where you're just like interacting with communities in Afghanistan, but you're also in these very high intensive conflict gunfight battles where you're also relying on your interpreter.
Yeah.
So I really want to like how they were like the lifeline, essentially. So,
Right. But
yeah,
yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. I've been reading a lot about this as well. Like you.
yeah, and I think we're gonna have incredible guests. Dave Morrow, who's been doing lots of Canadian media. Like, read any Canadian newspaper right now or YouTube, like from the big networks here, and he's the guy. So we're like
Really?
very honored to have him on.
That's
Oh yeah, he's
awesome.
like the go-to. I discovered in doing research that's kind of actually like I've kind of a little vacation from languages in a sense because this Afghanistan thing got me so enraptured because I'm just like, oh my god, like what is
That's
happening
such a
here?
groundbreaking event, right? Like even me, I've told you guys I've been like kind of taking a break from the news, but I've been
Yeah,
like enthralled by this. It's
How can you
ridiculous
not?
what's happening there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. Like, so just I wanted, yeah, I'm almost happy now we're doing the interview a bit later because I want to consume some more
We have to be
cultural.
very, very educated. for this podcast.
Well, yeah, that's hence
Mhm.
why like my Korean's deteriorated a bit, because it's just like I've been listening to podcasts. There's a famous, I don't know if you guys ever heard the movie The Kite Runner. Or
Yes.
I read the book in high
Oh,
school.
I think they
wow.
show that in schools,
Wow.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
watched it probably
Afghanistan.
like 10 years ago.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, look, Afghanistan itself, complex, fascinating history. Like not like obviously ancient, but like 20th century, right? So the Kite Runner is kind of like that's something like they showed students here in Canada to like give a feel for it. So that author has interviews and works, and so just kind of like lay the landscape of Afghanistan in my mind.
The thing about Afghanistan is that it's cool on every single level. Like not just like culturally and like I was gonna say anthropogenically, but geographically too. Like it's all like
Dude.
mountains.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Like everything is mountains.
Well, I think
In the
some of the
mountains.
southern part of the country is not mountainous,
There's
if I'm correct.
desert,
Yeah,
part of desert,
towards
mountains.
Pakistan, maybe. Yeah, but
Yeah.
most of it is mountains. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
vast majority of the country is just mountains. And it's
Yeah.
really cool. Like watching Alex Tienda's footage,
hmm
like driving through the mountains. It's so cool.
Oh, man, when he's got that drone with his GoPro,
Yes, yes,
mm, mesmerizing,
right.
man, mesmerizing.
And
Yeah.
there's really cool like ancient architecture
Oh God, yeah. Well,
as well
that's
from.
Buddhism, man. It was a place of Buddhism back in
Mm-hmm,
the day. That's why there's Buddhist statues,
mm-hmm.
which I know the Taliban blew up originally. I don't know if they blew it all up.
I don't think so.
So, I believe that's
I
in
don't think so, man.
Bamiyan. Like, yeah. And then you got like Persian connections, Turkic connections, Tajikistan. Afghanistan actually
Even
has a
like European, like Alexander the Great. He
man,
was
the
ravaging in
conquest,
there.
Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, the
Everyone,
Brits,
like it's
the
been contested
Soviets, the
land forever.
Americans.
It's been
It's
contested land forever.
it's the
absolutely
graveyard of empires.
graveyard of empires. So, yeah. It's gonna be yeah. I think a hefty illuminating ep, and I think in the language learning community, who we speak the most to, I think there's really like a chance to make a connection with that community. So yeah, very excited. Afghanistan is. I mean, this was we've been planning this way before like the news of last Sunday when
Yeah.
it made the international headlines. Like we've kind of like just well, I've always been fascinated with like this war interpreter idea. I mean, that just seems so. I mean, you have different types of interpreters, right? You got medical
Mm-hmm.
interpreters, legal interpreters,
Mhm.
a war interpreter. What? Like bullets whizzing by you, and you gotta be like using your language skills. So
Yeah, you got to be on the ball for that.
that idea has always just fascinated me, and I mean, braver men than me to tell the tales of what that's like. So, yeah. So I do need to finish that Alex Tienda series because man, Alex Tienda does great stuff. Venezuela, North Korea,
Mm-hmm.
he's got some really cool series.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
you guys
like that format too. I like that format because like he has probably like 4 or 5 hours of content from
yeah,
Afghanistan,
time you add them
and
all
it's
up,
very
yeah,
personal. Like it's very
absolutely,
personal, and he
super
shows you
personal.
everything. Like it's not curated. Like it's curated, but it's not
Well,
like
it's
curated.
it's like
It's edited, but it's
well
not
edited.
curated.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's edited, but it's not curated. Like
Yeah,
you would
he's
get
like
from
his
any other
videography
documentary,
is
right?
no, absolutely, and like that's made me think a lot about these like YouTubers that are super popular. Like they just get their GoPros and hit the streets. Like I think there's a lot of people doing that, but certain ones seem to really rise above and really connect with the
Right.
countries that they're in and the audience who they're showing their
Mhm.
videos to.
Because I'm really into like the Spanish YouTuber scene.
Uh-huh.
I don't right now. I don't watch Netflix. But I do spend a lot of time on YouTube following these YouTubers. And for
Yeah.
some reason, that type of content right now is more appealing to me.
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
what it is, but that type of content in Spanish is more appealing to me than like the Spanish TV series on Netflix.
Really? I'm the
TV in
opposite.
general
For
right
some
now.
reason, I prefer Netflix over YouTube.
Money Heist season 5, September 3rd, folks.
Yeah, September
Oh yeah, no,
3rd.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I think I'm in
But
terms of like percentages, I think I'm more like been watching more YouTube lately too.
but I don't know, that vlogging format
Yeah.
and like the authenticity of it all is
Yeah,
very
like
appealing to me.
I think
Like
how
I
it
find it
connects,
fascinating.
I feel like it connects with like you almost can picture yourself and anybody that's traveled to being like, I could do that. Like I could just like be the normal Joe on the street,
Mhm.
interacting, connecting. Whereas I feel like when you're watching a news report, it's like, okay, like CNN and
But a
like I
thing
need my
about
news
me,
team and stuff. Like I feel like
like
you can connect more with a YouTuber.
me as a
Mhm.
person, like I'm very attracted to like nonfiction and authenticity. I don't, for
Okay.
example, I can't remember the last, well, I can't remember actually, but I rarely read fictional books. Like it's
Right.
always nonfiction. Like for some reason, there's no appeal towards fiction for me. Like even though like there's certain series like Homeland, for example, I love Homeland.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
fictional stories that are based in reality and
That's what I'm all about.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. But still,
Wait,
if
what are
it's
you, Pinch?
authentic
What are you, fiction or nonfiction?
I like well, I like
fiction that's based in reality.
yeah, fiction that's based in
Wait, what?
reality
No.
and also science fiction.
Oh, fiction. Oh, sorry, fiction based in reality. Oh,
No,
sorry,
but
sorry.
like fiction that could take place in real life.
Mhm.
Like Homeland
Oh,
would be like the perfect example of
Okay,
that.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Or there's a bunch of other series, right? Or movies.
Of course.
Like
Yeah.
like real like true story movies. Who movies that are based on a true
Yeah,
story.
like
Like that
documentary.
stuff
Yeah.
is awesome, but it's still not authentic. But there's something about these YouTubers, like long format content that, they go into the streets with just a camera and they go to these obscure places. And
Yeah.
like Alex Tienda, that's like it's very well edited and he has like a
And
bunch
he
of like
explains it
historic
very
he
well too.
explains
Like
things and
his
he has a bunch
narration.
in his narration and he explains like the historical context as
Oh
well
yeah.
in
Yeah, yeah.
Afghanistan
North
and like
Korea, he goes really deep with North
right,
Korea.
right.
Well,
Like it's
and
not
Venezuela, those two, like he's showing
like it's
footage and
not BS. Like YouTubers, they get a lot of crap, but it's not BS, all of it. Like some
no,
of them are
like
really good.
I think that's educational level material. If
Yeah,
college level, if depends what you're like studying.
right.
I mean, it's not scholarly cited, but it's I mean, it's authentic as hell.
Mhm.
He's on the ground. He's in Venezuela
Mhm.
during the crisis. He's in North Korea. He's in
Yeah, and he's talking to people
Afghanistan.
and he's having breakfast with locals
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and
Right. Like
things happen to him like it's sketchy. Like things happen to him where he
super
gets
sketchy.
lost at the airport, he loses his guide, he's walking around alone in like some Afghan
Right.
city
Which I
trying to
think
figure things out.
if you've
He get
traveled, you've been
he
in those
gets apprehended by
situations.
the cops and he starts filming, he starts faking like that he's on the phone talking to someone, but he actually has his camera on filming the cops. Stuff
Yeah,
like that. You
man.
don't see that on like the news.
Travel hacks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Like a hack isn't
Yeah,
like
that's
a
kinda cool.
strategy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No.
would not have the balls to go to Venezuela. No way. Or not Venezuela,
Yeah.
Afghanistan. Venezuela as well for that matter, but Afghanistan. That back then, obviously now you can't
Yeah.
go, or you should definitely
Oh,
shouldn't
there's
go, but
journalists there at this very moment. Yeah. Yeah, like I'm just curious, like what's that guy got up his sleeve next? Like where's he off to? Like Somalia? Like what's he doing next?
well, like if you've been to
Like
okay, Somalia, that I don't know, but Afghanistan's got to be like the sketchiest place on the planet.
Oh,
well, let's
Somalia,
talk
man.
to
That's
I was
Yeah,
pulling
it was Somalia,
examples.
Somalia or Afghanistan.
It's places.
North Korea too, for that matter.
Libya.
Libya. But Libya, apparently Libya is very hard to get to. I know Afghanistan too, but Libya, apparently, like getting a visa to Libya is extremely hard.
Well, because it's so
I haven't-
dangerous there.
Yeah, I
right
was gonna say like
No, but like
since
like from the
Gaddafi
government as well.
fell
Like
and-
they don't let you in for tourism.
Because
Like, you have to
there's
go there
no
for some
government there. It's just total anarchy in Libya right now.
Well, are you thinking of
Right.
Tunisia? Or
No,
Libya?
no, I'm thinking of Libya.
No, Libya. Like
Oh.
Libya's
Yeah, because Tunisia, they're
craziness.
under. They went from they went back to. They reversed their Arab Spring revolt.
Yeah,
They went back
that's
to
recent.
authoritarianism.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thought that was a better
Um,
idea, apparently.
Kind of what Egypt did with the general.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I feel like if it's like less government, sometimes like I remember going to Nicaragua, like it was just the easiest visa process ever. It's like
No, you just show up at the
pay your
border,
$5, you're in. Like
but not
there's not
even.
this big bureaucratic state. Like
But like, it was
checking
fun
everything.
because like in the video, Alex Tienda, he had like his process, like getting into Afghanistan,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he had to send his passport to the Afghan embassy in the States,
Right.
and it
Yeah.
was just like law. He didn't hear anything for like months, and he
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
contact them because they couldn't be contacted.
Kind of like our boy Cody going to Korea. Yeah.
Right, but like even worse.
This stuff. Yeah.
And then like his passport just showed up at the airport the day he was gonna leave.
Holy.
Yeah, man. Well, and
It's
he's
good.
been doing all this. Well, not North Korea, but he did Venezuela and Afghanistan during COVID too. So all those international hoops.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, didn't really seem like they cared about COVID in Afghanistan in his videos.
Other
To be fair, they have other problems
preoccupied.
there.
Yeah.
They got bigger fish to fry, I think.
Bigger fish to fry.
Speaking of other personalities, did you guys hear the Lex Friedman section on Joe Rogan?
I listened to
languages?
half of it.
Man.
Not about languages, no.
Okay, yeah. It was interesting because Joe Rogan, that's whoever he has on, it's such a like meandering conversation all the time. But Lex, I think we've talked about him a little bit. Like, he speaks Russian. I think he speaks Ukrainian too. I don't know exactly. I think he's trilingual, and English. And yeah, it was interesting because like it's not a topic that gets brought up a lot on Rogan. Just on the guest was, but he really got into just going in depth with the language because they were talking about like a I don't know MMA that great, UFC, pleading ignorance here, but they're like Habib, is that his name? Like
Yeah, Khabib
Khabib. Yeah.
Nurmagomedov.
And like Lex was talking about how you'd like to interview him in Russian because he feels like Khabib speaking to an English audience is like just very like cut and dry. And like for hockey fans, I think of like Evgeny Malkin has always kind of been that way to like North American media, like just very like really quick quibs, right? Or as Lex was saying, he's like, if I could sit down with a guy like Khabib in Russian, he's like, I think I could have like a much more fascinating conversation with him. And then Lex goes on, I think people listen to it from like the 59-minute mark of the recent Joe Rogan. Lex just gets really into like the subtleties and nuances of a language and how even a language can kind of carry the scars of a people. Like he talks about like all the tribulations of Russians in the 20th century. It's just a really interesting insight from a guy that, again, going back to like parallel cross-disciplinary, like a guy that's really into like AI and robotics, to hear his kind of insights on languages, I thought was like really interesting.
That was fascinating. So basically what he said is that Khabib, he hasn't learned to express himself emotionally in Russian, and he said
in English.
In English. Sorry, in English.
Yeah.
And he said that having the interviewing him or talking to him in Russian was a lot more.
Well, he hasn't done it yet. He'd like to do
hasn't. Okay, but it would be a lot more meaningful. That's his hypothesis. Obviously, because that's his native. Well, I don't know if it's his native language or not.
Yeah.
Because he's from Dagestan. What did they speak in Dagestan?
Well, Russian. Well, Dagestan is like the Caucasus, right? So the Caucasus has its own myriad of
Yeah, so he
languages.
probably
Like I
has
know a guy
another
who
native
speaks
language, but he definitely
yeah,
speaks
yeah,
Russian
right,
natively
yeah,
or bilingually.
Mhm.
right. And he was
Nevertheless, it was very interesting because according to Lex, Russian is more philosophical, like the Russian language,
yeah.
philosophical, emotional, and like academic,
Well, he
perhaps.
was tying it to the school system in Russian to why that would be, saying like they got to read all the bigs when they're in like
Yes,
elementary. They got to read
Dostoevsky,
Dostoevsky, Tolstoy,
Tolstoy, all the
all
big
the all
philosophers.
the big guys in like middle school, like
Hmm.
grade
And they
7
go
Yeah,
hard.
starting.
Like you can't
I think
even no
Yeah.
spelling errors or anything. Like they perfect your
Well,
language.
the cursive, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm. And I think it shows, like, when you're talking to Russian people in English, they tend to use really, like, highbrow academic words for, like,
Uh-huh.
everyday situations. It's kind of interesting.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man, Russians are the smartest people. Like they are, like they're intelligent. Like all of them.
Well,
They're very bright. Like I feel like maybe it's genetics or maybe it's because of the school system or maybe it's a
Lex
combination of
was
both. But Russians,
yeah,
there's
Lex was explaining the
something
system.
right. So right in Russia, they go really hard in
Early,
your early on, like in your basic primary education is like
primary.
very hard. Like you're in grade 6, you're reading Tolstoy, Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
But then where his what he said is that where the West catches up or where the US catches up
Yeah.
is in university.
University. Yeah.
University, that's when they catch up and even surpass Russian education,
Right.
right?
Which,
Because
yeah, based on my life experience, that checks out.
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Like
true. That's
like
true. Because a
Canada
lot
and
of Russians come
US.
here.
Yeah, I mean, like I just think about like in middle school, we weren't reading Dickens, or I guess we read Shakespeare. Like I don't want to like totally knock our English departments, but it just sounds like the intensity is like they go
Well,
really deep
Mhm.
in their
intensity, but like
education
our
systems.
university systems here are very intense. They're
Well, that's
very
what I mean. I
intense.
know that's where Lex says that's when we catch
So
back up.
that does make sense
Yeah.
because yes, like where I grew up and well, so my where I went to school in Massachusetts, that was like one of the top school systems in the country, so that was really good. But then I went to
Yeah.
Sweden, it was basically a joke for the rest of my upbringing. And then
Yeah.
I went back to college here, and that's when my like education was revamped. That's where it restarted again, and I started
Right.
taking like education seriously because it was intense, right? That's when the intensity picked up.
Well, and then
Um,
according to Lex, like there'd be no joke days in a Russian school boys'
yeah, there's
shoes.
no yes,
And
like
you
you're
know what?
scared going to school because it's
That
intense as
cursive
hell.
is, I can attest to that cursive comment as well, because did I ever guys
What was the
tell you the
cursive
time?
comment?
Okay, so in Slavic languages, like Cyrillic based languages, like there's like the printed Cyrillic, like, but there's also like a cursive form, like handwriting form as well, just like in English, how we have
Hmm.
handwritten, and like that's the same in Cyrillic based languages. Now, did I ever tell you guys the story of the time I made like my Ukrainian tutor cry? Because
Mm-mm.
No.
I was like, okay, like, because I'm relying like, so I was on Kijiji, or I forget how I found her. Maybe I put out an ad or found, and she was charging me, it was like $15 an hour. This is in Edmonton. I was going to meet her at Starbucks like once a week or whatever. Like I was just getting into Ukrainian. These are my early days of Ukrainian. And she like, so part of like her first lessons, because she had like this very like rigid, like ladder in her head how I was going to learn
Yeah.
Ukrainian, where I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
I've done some Pimsleur, I've done some Memrise, like I'm kind of like all over the map and stuff, where she was like super rigid. And like she had those like, so you remember as kids, like when how we learned how to handwrite, like you had to like keep it in the lines and
Yeah.
stuff. Like she had that for me in Cyrillic. And I'm like 24, 25 now. I'm like, like I just like shrugged it off. But that was like really important to her, that I like would do that. And I mean, because that's how she learned it, right? She learned it
Mhm.
like very what's that word? Autodidactically.
Autodidactically.
Yeah, like super rigid and strict, and whereas I'm just more like a free flowing type of guy. But like at one point, I was like refusing to do stuff that she was like wanting me to do. Like I was over, I heard like it was at her apartment. She was like in tears at one point because she was like,
Oh my god.
she's like, "You're not doing what I'm saying. Like you're not doing what I'm telling you to do." And I'm like,
Oh.
"All right, I don't think this is gonna work out," kind of thing. But it's funny because like that's Ukrainian, Russian, like that Slavic mentality, and I think they have really rigid. I don't know, pedagogy is the right word, or like it's strict, it's rigid, it's
Strict schooling.
perfectionist. Yeah,
The curriculum.
yeah,
Strict curriculum.
strict curriculum.
Yeah, it's just
So
like the schools here in East Asia, right?
is it, okay then? Okay, I want to tie this to Asia because when Lex was like describing that, I'm like, well, like I've heard Korean kids go to school, and Cody, you're there, like that sounds similar to Korea.
Oh yeah, it's exactly the same. The kids
But
don't get a break here. Their summer vacation was coming to have a intensive class with me for the whole day.
right, okay. So is it intensive like Russia sounds intense, like you got to like analyze and remember Dostoevsky, whereas Asia sounds more you're just like working on more skills.
It's
Okay.
a lot
Like I was
of
trying to.
education here is based on rote memorization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, like in my case, like when the students are with a foreign English teacher, it's a little bit different. But in their public school system, it's just like they just memorize things all day.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, that's not every class, and like there are some other skills that they work on, but yeah, a lot of it is just like reading books, repeating after the teacher, and just like memorizing stuff.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's very intense.
Yeah.
Even in elementary school, like the kids, like they
Are
a
they
weekend?
stressed?
What's that?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
like a lot of these kids that I had over the past 3 weeks, they're just telling me that like these kids are like what, like 8, 9 years old, and
Right.
asking them what they're doing on the weekend or like what they're doing after class is going to my next lesson, going to just gonna be
Right.
studying at home this weekend. Like that's all they do.
No Fortnite.
Well, some of them do. Some of the kids do, but some of the kids with like this really strict parents, they don't get that.
Come on. They
Yeah.
didn't get to go to the Ariana Grande Fortnite concert.
Did that just
You guys
happen?
hear about that?
What?
When did that
They
go
had
down?
like Ariana Grande had like a Fortnite concert, and the viewership was greater than the combined viewership of like the Stanley Cup final, the NBA finals, the MLB final, the World
Oh my
Series,
god.
like all of that. All
Gamers.
of that was
What?
superseded by
We gotta
the
get to the
Ariana Grande
gamers.
concert on Fortnite.
Holy.
All right. No
That's
more
crazy.
Iron Man talk. How do we get to the gamers? We gotta connect to the
Yeah.
gamers.
Linguaholics on
That's
Fortnite.
wild. Yeah.
I don't even know. To be honest, guys, I don't even know what
Man.
Fortnite is. I have no idea what kind of
I've
game it is.
never
I
I've
don't know if
never
it's like
played it.
Minecraft or Call of Duty or whatever. I have no idea.
No, it's like a
It's like Call of Duty,
like
isn't it?
kind of based on another game called Player Unknown Battlegrounds or something like that. Like basically you jump out of a plane on an island, and then you have to like it's a free for all pretty much, and you just have to like find weapons and be the last person alive.
Did you ever play Fortnite, Cody?
I've played it a couple times. Um
Did you
but that
ever
was like what?
did you ever play League of Legends?
No, I never got into League of Legends, but that's huge here in East Asia.
Is that still a thing? League of Legends?
Yeah, well, at least I don't know about North America or Europe, but in Asia, League of Legends is huge. Like you go into the subway and like yeah, like there's probably like at least 3 or 4 guys on their phones watching League of Legends videos.
Uh,
It's crazy.
What else are the big games right now that the kids are into?
Oh, what's the
Well,
one?
Fortnite is the other one. So Fortnite, League of Legends,
Fortnite.
and I don't know what are the kids into back
There's
home.
some other one they play. It's like they're this. They don't know if
Ian,
they're the
yeah, you should
killer.
know this, buddy.
I should know. My niece was showing it to me the other day. What the heck was it? Amongst Us or Amongst
Oh,
Us?
Among Us, Among Us.
Among Us.
What the hell is
Among
that?
Us.
That's big among
You're
adults too.
right. Yeah, what happened to all the adult when I worked in the oil field, all the guys were into what was that one with all the Fruit Loops or oh man, it's kind of like a Tetris type of game. Fruita something. Fruita.
Fruit
Oh,
Ninja.
nah. No, you got like there's insane high level. There's like you get up to like level 500 with this game.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. All the guys played on their coffee breaks, but
And like
No, but I
Call
mean,
of
like-
Duty has just been completely taken over by 12-year-olds.
yeah, yeah. Okay, like that's some things. Like when it's something I'm not into, I think like, okay, is there a language learning element of it that I could exploit? Which I have heard video games, maybe not necessarily for like the game content. Oh, that could be true. Like sometimes I heard like when you're interacting with some of the people, like especially like big gamer content. Like I've heard German and Russian are real big into it. Like that's where some like gamers, because what like isn't like Halo you can just play internationally or some of these games where you can like connect
Well-
with people internationally and like all of a sudden this dude's like chirping you in Russian or you're on the team in
I
Russian.
don't know about Halo, but there's definitely a lot of games where you can do
Yeah, right. So in terms of like making like international connections, I think that's kind of cool.
that. Mm-hmm.
I guess you just got to be a gamer to take advantage of that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Alejandro meets maybe that's how we can get Alejandro to learn French or something.
Oh wait.
Get him gaming and
Oh
what
wait.
was that one? Oh yeah, like Grand Theft Auto. Can you
Oh,
play
yeah,
Grand
yeah,
Theft Auto
GTA.
and yeah, but are you talking to other people? in
Yeah, you can
GTA?
play GTA online. I think you can talk to people on there.
Right. Yeah. So just another way to meet people. Because I remember hearing like this one kid, he's like he knew all the German and Russian swear words because all the people he was gaming with spoke Russian and German.
Yeah.
So, that was another interesting thing about Lex interview. He said Russian. I don't know. I
They
was trying to
curse.
think of this.
They curse a lot.
They curse a lot, but not only that, he said it's more of like an art form. Which I was thinking like I think that's hard to compare because the best I could come up like to think about is like Spanish in like Mexico and just hearing like our native speak like I don't want to like say all the bad words here in Spanish, but I don't know like frequency wise how one would judge that. I feel like people could be biased. That's where people swear a lot in English too, depending on the context. But maybe in Spanish they swear more too. Like again, it's also the social setting that you're in, who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It depends. A lot of people curse
Yeah.
in English.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I was like, well, I think it can be an art form in any language, but maybe more so in other languages. Yeah, you guys ever seen those dirty book? Like it's called like Dirty Spanish, Dirty Italian.
I've seen those.
Like those are entertaining just to like flip through.
Are those on Instagram or?
No,
No,
they're
these
just
are these are books.
You know, like your local library, but it's just called like
Oh.
Dirty Spanish.
Oh.
It's just like all the bad words, all the bad.
Wow,
slang.
you know you're in
Big-
2021 when? Is it on Instagram?
No, Sweka, there's phrases, man. You always like new phrases.
Yeah, but there's like
Dichos.
good like the thing about like language Instagram is that there's like all these good pages where that upload like really interesting content that you can like flip through.
Right.
It's like it's very educational. Instagram
Well,
can be
yeah,
very
man.
educational. Like I learn things every once in a
Twitter,
while.
man. Even language Twitter.
Twitter, yeah, Twitter too. Twitter too.
Well, yeah, I think Instagram, you just see it
Yes, yeah, like
Boom. right there.
yes, educational
link.
posts.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
educational posts, like, oh, this is how you say certain things, like vocab, kitchen vocab in Spanish or Italian or whatever.
Yeah,
Portuguese.
I thought like you can get nice little grammar pointers
Yeah.
on. I know Lindy Botes put some nice like Korean pointers, really succinct, really well like,
Lindy.
presented. Yeah, man, lots of cool. Oh, we should give a shout out. Okay, I felt kind of bad. So our boy Mark from Language Come Up, he did his second 40-hour language challenge this past week, which I was following, wasn't really participating myself because I was doing, my head space was in Afghanistan, but it was cool to see like people really get into it because Mark just basically announces that he's doing that like well in advance, and it seems like the online community is really buying into that. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
Dude, Mark's
Yeah.
killing it on Twitter.
Mark
Go
is a
check out Language Come Up.
Mark, yeah.
Seriously. Yeah, so hopefully didn't really get to partake. Sorry, Mark. I think I even said I was doing Korean, but then this whole Afghanistan thing. was just like,
Yeah, I did the same. But
man.
yeah, same with
Yeah.
you.
And
I
I,
think
I was all jacked up from traveling, so I'm
Yeah, I know. We all
in the
got
same boat.
reasons, but nonetheless, we've already kind of laid out forging forward with languages. But yeah, man, the social media landscape for languages is fun. It's fun. We got a few minutes each day. Check on in. What's happening?
Yeah, I
with
like
that.
it. I like it.
It's fun. I don't know. Interesting. There's always interesting points, insights being made on language Twitter. I need to do more Instagram. But
Yeah, I'm really not big into Instagram, but every once in a while I go and check out our feed, and there's always some interesting posts.
yeah, lots of cool follows. So I don't know. It's I think, I mean, it's interesting. I feel like there's so many accounts, like more and more people on Twitter, like, you know, they're like profile, they're putting like, oh, I speak these languages, this and that. Like, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know how to assess that exactly, like to like kind of see like the language community growing online, but I swear it's growing, or it's even bigger than I can totally grasp. Which I think is really cool. Like there are so many people. Now, maybe it just seems like there's lots of people. Maybe like in the general populace, it's not. But in terms of like on Twitter itself, like seems like there's always like new people to follow, check out. It's really cool.
Yeah, so I mean, people have a lot of followers, right? Like
Yeah,
language.
but even the people that
How
are new,
How many followers does Steve Kaufman have, for example?
quite a few, and like that's the thing. Like you go and see most of Steve's followers, they're all like language learning accounts, pretty well.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. So I feel like all online, this community is.
He has 14.2K followers.
Yeah, I know. And if you were to like scroll through those 14.2, like the vast majority have something in their profiles about languages.
I got
right?
3
Like,
retweets, by the way, on my tweet today.
hey,
Ooh, there you go.
Oh wow!
Yeah, man.
And 18 likes.
There we go.
Nice.
Look at me! Look
People
at me
love
being
Italian,
on.
man.
Yeah, look at me.
Ti amo. Seriously. Yeah, we got to do we'll have to do some kind of like crown the king. What's the best romance language? Once we've Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian.
It's gonna be hard to
what's the
dethrone
best?
Spanish.
Because we
Or
did the
what's-
sexiest one.
Did we do a poll for that?
Yeah, we did. What's the sexiest one?
Which one won?
Oh yeah, and people got mad because they're like, "What about Romanian,
French one.
Catalan?" Yeah, we did that poll a little while ago.
Yeah.
The French one?
Yeah,
French
French
one.
got it.
Le français?
That's defensible.
But you want to ask which is the best one?
I don't know. What's the best one? Yeah.
What does that mean?
Super subjective. I don't know. That's why I'd be like a guy like Richard Simcott to come on and be like, come on, give us the dirt. Which one's the best? Just talk it to us straight. Yeah. Yeah, because people got like mad. I think we did like a second poll with like Romanian and
Yeah.
Catalan
Where's lengua doc?
and yeah.
What
Yeah.
happened?
Oh
What
yeah.
happened to that second poll? Who won that second poll?
I forget. Maybe Romanian.
No,
Maybe.
no, it wasn't Romanian.
Yeah. Well,
Or was
what was
it?
the one you just said? Because that was one of the French
Lengua,
ones.
like Occitan or something like that?
Occitan. Yeah, that's right. Right. 'Cause I
That's
think.
what they speak in Spain. That's another Spanish, right?
I think so.
Oh no, in Gallego, and we put Gallego
Mm.
as the.
And
It was Romanian, Catalan, Occitan, and Gallego.
Occitan.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
they speak up in like Aragon in the Pyrenees, no? Or that's another one.
It might. It's in France.
I think Catalan won.
Catalan one.
Parlano mesonomica, no?
Should
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Occitan is France. That's right. But there's another
Whereabouts?
one. There's another language that they speak in Aragon, which is in Spain as
Well,
well, which is really close to Catalan.
okay.
I
Yeah,
forget what it's
yeah.
called.
I believe you also have Breton in France, which is there's one of them. I think there's like a Celtic. Is it Celtic or Celtic? I never know.
Celtic.
Aragonese.
Celtic?
Yeah.
It's Celtic.
Because
I
they
used to
call them
say
the Boston Celtics.
Yes, I said Celtic, and then someone corrected me. It's Celtic.
Okay. All right. We stand corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think Breton has Celtic connections.
Mhm.
So, yeah. That's the cool thing about language Instagram, Twitter. Lots of these languages I'm not even learning, or I think I like learning a thing or two about them. So that's why it's cool when people share. No matter what language you're doing out there, folks. Share something about your language.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. It educates the wider language community, and just makes the world more fascinating.
Educación para todos.
Esto es. So even if something about like Paraguayan Spanish, tweet it out. Tell us. Let us know. Want to learn stuff. So
Sí, vámonos.
yeah. I don't
All
know.
right, guys.
Yeah.
Are we there yet?
We pushed a nice little hour 20.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap
being
up.
back in the podcast groove. We have some guests coming up. So we've talked a lot about like the Afghan app we're going to be diving in with. There is a really popular YouTube gal, Valeria. Oh, Valeria, I don't want to say your last name wrong. Turina, she's really cool. She's on YouTube. She's gonna be coming up in September. Just rescheduling with a guy named SF Langlover, who's had some interactions with us on Twitter. I believe he might do some medical interpretation. So he's gonna be up in September, and then our big Afghan ep. So some things to bring here in September on the podcast. So boys, any thoughts for the week ahead or the month ahead?
Heading into
We'll wrap it up.
fall, pretty strong.
Yeah,
I'm very excited about
summer.
fall. I'm very excited. I love fall. I'm
Love the
very
fall,
excited
eh?
for the temperature to go down because right now it's too hot.
Yeah.
It is
I think
warm.
this is gonna be a good fall for sure.
Sweet.
I think fall is my
Good.
new favorite season.
Really?
Well, now that you
Yeah.
live in Ontario.
Now when I live in Ontario.
In Alberta, summer is by far the best season.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's hard to beat. Well, if the smoke goes away,
when it's smoky and like ridiculously hot, like over 30, then I don't see the point.
Yeah, it's true.
Pre-climate change, Alberta summer is good.
Was nice. That's nice. Yeah, fair enough.
Fond
leave it at that.
memories.
Let's leave it at that.
Let's leave it at that, folks. All right.
Okay,
check
guys.
us out.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.